How do enterprise organizations apply artificial intelligence technology at scale? And how do they scale impact around the world as they build with these innovative solutions? Welcome to Impact with AI. I'm your host, Brandon Andrews, excited to connect with another leader using artificial intelligence technology to drive impact around the world. Today, I'm with a global enterprise leader who's leading AI implementation at a big brand. Excited to have Vishal with me from Singapore. Vishal, welcome to Impact with AI. How are you driving impact at Heineken?
Thanks, Brendan, for having me. I am focused on driving impact at Heineken, where we use AI to solve real business problems and create measurable value. Our approach is to deploy AI at scale. Today, we already have more than 10 end-to-end AI products which are live across multiple operating companies in different markets across Heineken. And our focus is really to scale on AI products which have already been proven and which already works within our business environment.
Wow, that's incredible, Vishal. I'm familiar with Heineken, and I know many people in the audience will be as well. I've enjoyed the products once or twice myself. As you think about applying artificial intelligence and machine learning technology at an enterprise organization, how do you develop the use cases and then show the efficacy of the investment that's being made when you look at generative AI?
So for Heineken, what we do is we use a framework called RICE, which is essentially reach, impact, cost, and efficiency. So within this framework, we look at how we are able to scale the solution, how many number of users within different functions are using the solution, how does it directly translate into productivity or cost gains or drive growth and revenue impact, and how easy or complex is the solution where we are piecing together data from multiple different sources, making sure we apply the right models within the guardrails of Heineken's secure environment to ensure that those use cases deliver the maximum results. And it really becomes part of the core business workflows. So the AI use cases are
Hmm.
something which basically becomes part of Heineken way of working. This is not an add-on thing we ask our people to
Hmm.
switch to or adapt. So this ensures stickiness and focus on prioritizing the right use cases for generative AI at the outset and making sure we
Hmm.
closely get the relevant business sponsor as well as our finance controller to sign off on the before and after so you can tangibly measure the return on investment on each of the use cases. And that is how we derive value of AI. And we actually publicly share that in our annual investor report as well.
Now, that nomenclature that you use to evaluate these AI use cases, is that something that you've used? I know you've led AI strategy at multiple organizations. Is that something that you've used previously or something that you adopted during your time at Heineken?
I think the methodology is fairly similar across the different organizations. It's slightly, termed differently, but it is really almost a
Hmm.
industry practice to focus on you know, making sure that the solution is scalable, it is wide reaching, it has cross functional or cross geography impact, and it requires the right set of AI tools, and it actually qualifies in the first place as an AI or generative AI use cases, because a lot of times people use AI and, even if it's a simple hyper automation or RPA or just do it kind of use case, they apply AI labels to it. For us, we have a very
Mm-hmm.
clear path where we determine whether it's classical machine learning, whether it's a low code, no code solution which can be deployed or developed
Mm-hmm.
using vibe coding or technologies like Copilot, or whether it's a true
Mm-hmm.
Gen AI, agentic AI solution, which is developed using LLMs, pro code pipelines. So we have a clear triage process where we filter each of the use cases and then accordingly prioritize and work on it.
Sounds like a process that makes sense, Vishal. I'm curious to know, for your use cases, are those being developed by you and your immediate team and then being shared with the broader organization? Or do you have employees at Heineken that bring their ideas? I would like to use AI to do this, or I'd like to use AI to do that, to help build the use cases that actually move forward.
Yeah, so good question. So I think most of our use cases actually come from the business functions or the business users
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So I like to call it our barley to bar narrative, so to speak. So, you touch the full value chain within Heineken, where you start with production, supply chain, commerce, marketing, and then customer service. So it's like a end-to-end
Mm-hmm.
spectrum across the entire value chain. So what we do is we have like AI ambassadors or AI point of contact within each of the business function,
Mm-hmm.
and we have actually upskilled
Oh, okay.
them with basics of AI, generative AI, and they are the ones who actually surface these use cases and come to us.
I think that's so interesting. You mentioned that there's an AI contact, so someone dedicated to work with your team on building AI solutions within each business function. We've heard over the past few years chief AI officers and uh, executives in the C-suite who are leading the implementation of artificial intelligence across the enterprise, but to go one, two, maybe even more levels down in the organization and have people embedded in each business unit that are responsible for artificial intelligence integration. I think that is a different level of infrastructure that's being built to support artificial intelligence adoption as you continue to get those ideas for use cases. So, really interesting organizational structure, in addition to, of course, your approach to sourcing use cases, vetting and evaluating those use cases, implementing the technology, and then, of course, to finally evaluating the efficacy of the approach that's been hopefully improved with the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning technology. So, Vishal, uh, I know you have a personal mission to not only show the tech potential for artificial intelligence, but to show the social mission, to show the positive impact that artificial intelligence can make around the world. Want to talk about some of your work that you're doing in the community, but first, at Heineken, or as someone that's thinking about applying artificial intelligence to an enterprise, are there things that you think about in terms of making a positive impact with AI as you are implementing these use cases, whether that's governance or something else?
So from a Heineken perspective, it's twofold. One is obviously our laser focus on sustainability, and through a number
Mm-hmm.
of our initiative, Heineken is very committed to being a sustainable company across. We operate breweries across different markets around the world, which obviously use water and energy. So a lot of our AI, we have this concept of connected breweries where we optimize production to minimize, the energy consumption or water wastage, hence
Hmm.
contributing towards sustainability costs. So I think that is something I'm extremely proud of on how we do AI at Heineken. In terms of governance and having guardrails and responsible AI, of course, that is a key priority as well because we want to democratize AI within Heineken, and we want to ensure that we are compliant with all the privacy guidelines. Being a European company, we are obviously ensuring that we are compliant with GDPR and various regulations around the world. So that is something we pay utmost attention to.
Yeah, well, it's great to hear that you have that focus on sustainability. And of course, I think whatever the goal is, it's important to be intentional about it from the beginning. And if you can do that, then you certainly set the tech solution, the tech platform, and the broader enterprise on a path to be able to, achieve those positive goals. In addition to, of course, achieving that business imperative that is always there. So, Vishal, now that we've talked about Heineken and your work there a bit, would love to talk a little bit more about your work in the community. I know you have a passion for artificial intelligence and technology education. And again, you have a desire to see artificial intelligence drive positive impact in addition to driving some good business impact around the world. So, talk to us a little bit about the work that you're doing in the community and maybe even how folks can support.
Absolutely. I think I have been really passionate about driving awareness and outreach of generative AI, agentic AI, in education. And by education, it means high school going students to all the way to pre-university, university, and even masters. So I engage very closely with AI Singapore, Singapore educational institutions, MBA schools around the world, where I frequently engage with the students on the changing landscape and future of work with the impact Gen AI and agentic AI brings. That gives me a lot of satisfaction to interact with these future leaders. And it's also as much an opportunity for me to learn as much as to share my knowledge and insights with them. I also partner very closely with AI Singapore and ASEAN Foundation, which is basically on a mission to train 700 million citizens around Southeast Asian countries on AI literacy. So I am one of
Hmm.
the master trainers who's training 120 youth educators, parents across Singapore on basics of AI literacy and giving them in-depth AI readiness program knowledge and insight.
Yeah, well, all of those efforts sound like they are accruing to positive impact with people of all ages. So, younger people making sure that they have access to education, and then even college students and working professionals making sure that they are connected to artificial intelligence. I think we all know that we're all on a lifelong learning journey, and having master teachers like yourself who have expertise in these areas is helpful as people try to not only understand how to engage with AI, but try to understand how it works and how to build with it to hopefully impact their lives in a positive way. So great work there. And Vishal,
Thank you.
is there any one of those projects that might want folks to be able to connect with? Feel free if there's a website or something that you might want to share.
Sure. So I think it's really AI Singapore is the Singapore's national organization which I work with, and ASEAN Foundation, of course, in close partnership with
Uh-huh.
Google.org. So really happy to collaborate on other AI for good initiatives, whether it's in education, healthcare, or just even security or awareness about various scams, with the advent of generative AI. While there are a lot of good things about it, but unfortunately, there are some bad actors out there who are also using
Yeah.
misinformation, disinformation, things like deepfake, etc. So I'm really also actively looking to engage on those efforts, and I'm actually publishing my first book, which is at the intersection of AI and cybercrime in within this year. So really keen to engage and collaborate with like-minded people on those topics as well.
Wow, Vishal. Well, congrats on writing that book and can't wait to read it. And you'll have to come back and tell us all about it once it's published. As we close out, Vishal, and thanks again so much for spending time. It was great meeting you in India during the big AI Summit in India earlier this year. Um, as we close out, do you have any final tips for ways that enterprise leaders like yourself can use artificial intelligence to drive positive impact in their organizations and across the world more generally?
Sure. So I think my message to enterprise leaders is really that it is not so much only about tech, but it is really also about people, process, and change management. So most of the
Hmm.
AI projects fail because of lack of poor change management or engagement of people, adoption, or changes to the workflow and core business processes. So as much as you pay attention to the tech stack, it's equally important to prioritize people and process first. Once you have people and process aligned, the rest would follow. So I would really, sort of encourage all the enterprise leaders to think on that direction, and that way, not
Hmm.
only they bring people along this journey, but as part of the process, they actually democratize AI as well as raise the overall level of AI awareness across the broader organization and community.
Got it. Well, those are great tips, Vishal, and thank you so much for the work that you are doing. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of Impact with AI. If you'd like to see more of these conversations, visit impactwithai.media or follow our podcast on YouTube. We'll see you next time.